I moved in the middle of vet school, in the middle of the week, with 2 exams. Let's talk about it. So, my whole thought process moving down to school at Auburn for vet school. Why are you talking? What? You're just flopping. I feel like I need a chair. Hold on. We bought a house. Swan, what you doing? Hi. Okay, so I got a chair because I have nowhere to sit. Nothing is organized, which is why you see this mess behind me. Random things, including my shampoo or conditioner, and then salsa and coffee and all these things, because I just moved in, I think about 3 days ago. To be honest, I don't really know what day it is. Also, Chester's trying to convince me that it's time to eat, even though it's like an hour and a half before he eats, so he is now talking behind me. Chester. My dog is very vocal, in case anyone needs to know. Come here, bud. No. Okay, so I want to talk about how there's different ways that you can go about your living situation in vet school. And if you're starting that process of trying to figure it out, hopefully this video is helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can drop them down below and I will try my best to answer any questions. So to start this off, I'm going to share a little bit of like what I did and what my thought process was, and my experience of buying and renting and everything else, just to hopefully help you with your transition. So I came down to Admitted Students Weekend at Auburn, which apparently means that everyone who comes down brings their family and they go and shop around for trailers, and then while you're sitting in Admitted Students Weekend, you're stressed because you have no idea that that's what everybody else is doing, and then all the trailers are bought up by the end of the day. So that is what happened to me, and it's kind of stressful, but everything ended up working out how it was supposed to. So what I ended up doing was renting a room from another vet student for the first couple of months to get myself down here and to start looking for a place. And then I knew I wanted to start looking for my own place before Admitted Students Weekend, when the new freshmen and first years came in, and then I might miss my opportunity to get into my own place. So let's talk about the pros and cons of renting and buying and just everything in between, and then what all entails with both of them. With renting, you have the option of only paying a certain amount per month and then just not having to worry about the maintenance of things, calling your landlord when there's an issue, and you just basically living there, paying rent, and then moving on with your life. Now that is a good thing, but with my situation coming from undergrad, I had not some good landlord experiences in undergrad, and then moving in down to Auburn, I was just looking for a good landlord situation. But then one of my little points that I needed to be careful with when I was searching for a place that I might need to rent from is the fact that I have a dog and a cat. So when you're looking for a place to rent, just make sure if you have pets that that place is acceptable to whatever breed your dog is, and if they can allow cats. The other stipulation that I had when I was looking for a place that accepted all of my animals was the fact that I have a used to be stray cat, but it is now an indoor-outdoor cat. So I really needed a situation where my cat could freely go around and explore, because I knew that if she stayed inside all day, there would be torment to whatever was inside, and it just wouldn't be a delightful experience of basically us rooming together. When I found a place that I was going to rent a room from, it was a really good opportunity, and I snatched it up, and it was just good. So then I could get down to Auburn, start school, and then figure out if I was going to be renting another trailer or renting a room, renting a house, or buying vice versa, any of those things. The other thing that I want to point out is how when you're renting, you are just renting and you're paying someone money and you're not going to get any of that back. If you are renting, you can build your credit with it depending on the situation, which is also a plus because you're going to want to build your credit for the future and when you get out of school and potentially when you're in school, so then you have credit and a good credit for loans and future things like mortgages and everything else after you get out of school. However, if you go the renting route, when you're done, you don't have anything to sell or make money off of the money that you've already put down. So for example, if you bought a house and you're having to pay the mortgage or you're paying a lot rent, whether it's a mobile home or anything like that, you are putting money down, but at the end of the 4 years, you will be able to sell the mobile home or the house or whatever situation, maybe it's a condo, you'll be able to sell it and get that money, and then maybe that's enough money to put a down payment on your next house or have enough money to pay for the rent wherever you end up moving for your contract as a veterinarian. Thing to consider is both of those factors, whether you just want to rent and is that good for you, or whether you want to eventually buy or purchase a home where you can potentially make money off of it. Maybe you don't even make money, but you can get your money back basically after 4 years. And also the other pro point of having a house that you own is you can rent out the other room and make money off of it potentially if you need to, or it just pays for utilities, or maybe you're just helping someone out where they pay for their portion of living costs and then you're just breaking even every month. Whatever you choose to do, you have the opportunity to basically control things in your own home, which means you can have your pets, you can have what you need, and you can be your own self with your own property without having to ask permission from a landlord. That being said, just make sure you're screening wherever you want to live, whether that is renting or that is owning. For my situation, having my own place to live is what I wanted and it was ideal for me. And how I decided on a mobile home was out of functionality and just not needing an actual house at the moment. However, there are cons of just getting a mobile home. So some of the cons with just getting a mobile home is weather. Depending on where you're going for vet school, it's important to know if you have tornadoes, hurricanes, maybe even both, or just bad weather that could affect your mobile home, and in that context, making sure that you have renter's insurance or home insurance to cover those situations. So with that being said, owning a house, you have the security of hopefully it being a brick house or something like that to where you can hide somewhere during the storm. But then if you have a mobile home, there's always a chance that it could get picking up and then you end up in Kansas or not in Kansas anymore, as our wonderful movie Wizard of Oz says. So there's just multiple factors, whether you end up getting a condo/apartment or you get a mobile home versus an actual house, and basically what your budget is. Because there's all three different budgets. The house could be a completely different expense versus the apartment and the condo that you purchase and the mobile home. They can all end up being the same exact price depending on the year and the location and the amenities that are all included. But you might get lucky and score a fantastic deal with whichever one you end up choosing. When searching for a place to live, just make sure that you keep in mind all of your expenses, what you can afford, and then try to plan out a budget before you start school and get a mindset around your expenses that you normally pay for in undergrad, and making sure that you know what's going to be going in and out of your bank account and what you can afford during vet school. Yes, we do get access to student loans, and if you're going the student loans route, then just make sure that you spend what you need to spend and not all of it, so then you can hopefully get out of vet school, whether it's $1,000 cheaper or maybe even $50,000 cheaper. Just make sure that you are starting budget and figuring out how you're going to be doing your budget. Which there'll be more information on how I personally do my budget in vet school. I honestly don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning as I go, and I want to share that with you guys. Now let's talk about the timing of how this all played out on my end. So like I said, I moved down and moved into a room with another vet student, and then I am here now and it is midway through the semester. So how did this all come together? It wasn't easy, but it also wasn't difficult. If you have good time management and then it's a process that you are aware that it's happening, you can manage moving into a house, but you have to realize that have priorities on how you're going to do it. Whether it's, okay, I'm going to move on, say, Thursday and I have an exam on Friday, or I have an exam that Monday, make sure you're studying up until that point so then you're not losing study time. And also recruit family and friends to help you with the moving process to make the whole situation easier, so then you can maybe stay at the vet school and study longer that day, or just operate in a better situation. For me, I did have an exam the next day, and I just made sure that I was studying up until the very last minute, and then ended up going into my now new office and studying while family and friends were unpacking that stuff that I had transported in and then taking care of some things. But as you can see, things are still all over the place, but that's okay. I am aware of that, and just remembering that school is a priority during this transition, and eventually my house will turn into a home, but for right now, I need to focus on school and then use my unpacking as just a moment of, I don't know, relaxation, I guess, if you think that unpacking and organizing is a relaxation. If you are not wanting to stress about where you are living, and especially I would recommend when you're moving down to vet school for the very first time, try to find a place to live between May and July, so then you can come down, get used to the area. And if your school offers any of the summer programs like Auburn does, like the anatomy workshop, to prepare you for the upcoming semester, try to have a place to either stay or live so then you can get in the groove of things before the semester starts. But otherwise, just getting all your stuff moved down over the summer, and then whether you're traveling, spending time with family, or whatever you're doing, at least you already know that it's already taken care of in Auburn and you don't have to worry about it. Now, moving throughout the semester is not ideal. However, again, if you have time management, everything will be fine, and recruit family and friends as long as it doesn't stress you out. Now, if you don't want to do the moving over the semester, just keep in mind when all the houses, apartments, or condos, or mobile homes might get snatched up, and make sure that you are getting ahead of the game if that is what you want to do. I am not saying that after everyone snatches it up, say in April or June or whenever it might be, that there's just absolutely no other place to live. There's not. I can attest for that, as it is the middle of the semester and I found a place to live, and I absolutely love my place to live. Just keep in mind that if you're wanting to beat everybody else, like, you're gonna have to beat everybody else and start early, but also have some patience with the whole situation, because you'll get your house, like, you'll get a place to live. Don't stress, just be proactive in looking at places. That's all I have for today's video, but if you guys have any questions on my move or anything else, drop them down below. Don't forget to check out my Instagram to follow along on my vet school journey and see what I'm up to on a day by day basis as a vet student at Auburn University. I'm looking forward to sharing this experience with you, and check out my next video that will be about budgeting and meal prepping and how I just operate as an everyday vet student at Auburn University.